Donald Trump running for president as a Republican.
Okay, so let's knock the hell out of OPEC for a second. We had Boone Pickens on. I mean, think about this cast of ideological characters. From Boone Pickens to John Kerry, from Joe Scarborough to Dr. Sachs. We all think we need to break our dependence on foreign oil.
Well, we have to break OPEC. Hey, look, half of these people are there because of us. We created OPEC by protecting them so that Saddam Hussein and others didn't take them over a long time ago, like Kuwait, who are now, big investors in other countries outside of the United States. They don't want to invest in the United States because their return isn't good enough in the United States. And yet we handed the country back to them, didn't ask for payment. We put out all the fires of the oil wells, and Kuwait is out there saying, no, I'd rather invest in China because the return on investment is better, okay? Give me a break. We are. So look at, as an example, look at Iraq. They have $14 trillion of oil, and we're going to leave Iraq. And that's going to be it. I mean, what do? We just leave. And by the way, it's going to blow up. I guaranteed that Iraq is taken over by Iran because they've been so weakened that Iraq will be taken over by Iran. But what happens with OPEC is an all-time classic. These 11 men, and in this case, Mika, I hate to say it, but it's all men. These 11 men sit around a table and they fix the price of oil. And they say it's going to be $82 a barrel, even though oil is all over the place. I mean, every ship at sea is loaded up with oil. They don't know where to dump it. And it's really a shame. The way we run this country is an absolute disgrace. Now, Senator Kerry, who's a friend of mine, and I, was just listening. He's talking about all of this stuff, but, they've been in office for the last why aren't we doing this stuff? We're talking about it, but nothing ever gets done. And he's right about, I can tell you, I buy a lot of solar panels. They're all made in China. Why aren't they made in this country?
Mike Barnicle.
All right, Donald, as long as we're on the Trump magical mystery tour of the world, let's stick with China.
Okay.
High-speed rail, solar panels, they are taking, apparently, nearly everything from us in terms of manufacturing. What do we do about that?
Well, the big thing we have to do is we have to start making our own products, and we have to stop going over to China.
Donald Trump possibly running for president 2012 as a Republican.
Not that I'm proud of
What do you think about that? Don't tell nobody.
By the way, the American products are better. I buy large amounts of furniture, sometimes from China. It's always breaking. How about buying their sheetrock? Where housing projects are being abandoned because the sheetrock is a disaster, as you know and you've read about.
Yeah.
Their products are not nearly as good as our products, and somebody should start saying that the American products are better. The problem is there's a manipulation by China very intelligently. And by the way, if I was in China and I could get away with this, I'd be doing it too. But we're sucking the blood out of this country. OPEC is sucking the blood out of this country. Do you ever notice anytime there's a little bit of a good report that we're starting to do better, oil prices go up? Well, every time oil prices go up, this country goes down. So we have to do something about OPEC. We have to do something about China and other countries. If you have a credit card problem, Mike, you call up the credit card. This isn't a person from Iowa. You're talking to a person in India.
Yeah, well, that's true. So, Donald.
Yes. That's a very, very familiar voice. I always like it when Mika calls me.
Hello. Come on. Hello. All right, let's go. Can I ask him a question? He's trying to throw you off.
This
she's very different than she pretends to be on the show.
Yes,
She's a very different woman, but a great woman.
That's
Go ahead,
repetitive.
Great woman.
Okay, so this frustration you feel, is that why you were thinking of running for president? And would you run as a Republican?
Well, I am a Republican. I'd run as a Republican.
Well, yeah.
I haven't decided. I prefer not running. I'm having a great time, as you know, doing what I'm doing. I build great things. I'm buying a lot of things right now. It's a great time to buy if you're in my business.
I stand by the Trump vodka.
Well,
but honestly, in all
very
seriousness, is there a frustration that you feel that may put you over the edge to think about running? And would it be with the Republican Party?
Well, no, there's a frustration, not with the Republican Party and not with anything. There's a frustration about how stupidly our country's run. I mean, we are giving this country up. We are moving jobs to Mexico. We're making, China's making many of our products. It's soon as going to be making all of our products. We are rebuilding China, Mika. We're rebuilding China. This isn't like, oh, gee, China's doing, and then they talk about fair trade. They talk about open markets and free trade. I don't want free trade with a country that has hundreds of billions of dollars of, let's use the word profits, against the United States. I don't need that kind of free trade. We should tax Chinese products. And by the way, you will very quickly pay off the Chinese debt. For those people that say, oh, gee, they're our banker, how can we do that? That 25% tax will pay off the debt very, very quickly. We've lost our drive in this country. You go to China, and I heard your father say it, and I love your father. To me, he's my all-time favorite guest, and all due respect to everybody else. I think he's great. But I heard your father saying it. He came back into this country after visiting some of these other countries that we're talking about, in particular China, and it was like coming back into a third world country. It's true.
Yeah. It is. Hey, Donald, let me ask you this. If you run in 2012, you'd be running against Barack Obama. Rate Barack Obama as a leader.
Well, I respect him. I like him. I think he's wonderful in many ways. I think he has been not good for business, and honestly, very sadly, the world does not respect this country, and therefore I assume the world does not respect our leader. He's a nice man. I think he's totally over his head.
All right. Wow.
Donald, thank you very much for calling back.
Thank you very much, Mika.
All right, take care. We'll talk to you later. Business before the bell.
Donald Trump thinks that Obama is over his head, that this country's not respected because Donald Trump says the president is not respected around the world, and he wants to run for president in 2012. Shh, don't tell nobody. What do you think about that?